Hello, everyone. So the only thing we have going on this coming week is submitting our final project, our targeted persuasion, which is kind of a culmination of this whole semester's work. And so I thought I'd just make a quick video and kind of remind you all of some of the key points of the assignment and go over the rubric with you all. So I invite you to go back and read the initial assignment. It is really easy to read an assignment or a writing situation, whether it's, for college or maybe it's a call for cover letters for a job, to read it once and then get into the writing and without knowing it, slowly get off topic or get off purpose without realizing it. And so it's really important to go back to that call for, job applications or call for research essays like this one and read over the expectations, the actual assignment over and over again to remind yourself what you're doing. Because oftentimes there is the need for a realignment as we write, continually realign and make sure that we are actually addressing what has been or providing what has been asked for, whether it's from a professor, an instructor, a potential employer or a boss or whatever. Go back to the assignment. There's always an assignment. So read over this to remind yourselves what we're doing. The logistics. So first of all, this is a culmination of what we've been doing all semester. And so in our first writing project, the autoethnography, which y'all did such a good job with, is we identified a really socially relevant and meaningful behavior within one of the communities we belong to. Something that we have seen. We are experts of our experience. And sometimes we don't realize that, and we don't realize some of the complex things that we notice. But once we name them, once we kind of make that familiar community strange, to kind of look at the people within it and the behavior and name that behavior, then it becomes more tangible. And we can actually work with it and analyze it and really examine it and its effect. And so we did that with our first writing project. We identified a behavior. What we did with the second writing project is we took that behavior, something that aligned with that behavior that we noticed, and we looked to see what are the experts having to say about this. So we're not relying only on our perspective. We're avoiding the danger of that single story, and we're looking at what the experts have to say about it to kind of add complexity and richness and perspective to what we already identified. Okay, and so we're gathering all of these perspectives and really forming a solid foundation of knowledge about this behavior. So now in our third writing project, we're building on that solid foundation of information and knowledge and perspective, and we are picking a specific audience who needs to know, some of the opinions that we have formed, some of the information that we have gained, and we're persuading them of an opinion, okay? And the ticket here for really successful writing is picking a specific audience, a specific group of people, and catering our writing, catering our style, kind of the content, kind of the phrases and the terms we use and the references we use to that specific audience. Because those unique characteristics in our writing that really appeal to that audience is what is going to make this very persuasive to that group of people. Granted, other people can eavesdrop. Like, I'm going to be an eavesdropper. You're not writing this for me. I'm going to be the eavesdropper of this conversation. But I'm not going to be who you're writing it to. You're going to pick that specific audience and you're going to write a targeted persuasion, trying to persuade them that your ideas are valid. Because now you are the key author here. You are the leading author. You are the star of the show. Your voice matters. Even though your ideas might have been formed from reading other people's opinions, they are now your opinions and they are your backup. They are not the stars of the show, these sources. They are now your backup. And so you're going to take your opinion, you're going to introduce your reader, keep them human. Think back at your avatar that you created in the audience analysis and speak to that avatar. Okay, persuade them, introduce this topic to them, let them know what you're doing. Share a thesis right in that introduction that is going to really clearly state your opinion so that they can find that sentence, or maybe it's 2 sentences, but it's a tangible sentence that they can point to and say, okay, this is what this author is going to persuade me to believe. Okay, now let's see if the body actually fulfills the promise of that thesis. So you're going to pick that thesis and put it in that introduction, and then you're going to write the body explaining the points of opinion that align with your thesis. Let's say, okay, here's let's see. Maybe you are writing to Paradise Valley students and you're trying to persuade them that volunteering is good for their mental health, because that was a behavior that you identified in your community. And so you're going to not say, hey, it's good for your mental health, but maybe your thesis will say, it's good for your mental health because of A, B, C, and D. And these 4 reasons. And then the body of your essay is going to expound on each of those 4 reasons. And you are going to be bringing in 3 published sources as evidence to help, with some of those points. Maybe you'll bring in some of your own observations that you noticed in your autoethnography. You can bring any content from your earlier writing and use it in this essay, but you're going to have to tweak it. You're going to have to change it, because this is not an autoethnography. This is now a very persuasive essay where where you are asking specific people to, sorry, that phone threw me off, specific people to believe you. Okay. And so you'll have to tweak it a little bit, but that's what you're going to be doing. Okay. And so look at all of these different criteria. And if you look at the criteria, and if you go over to our final submission page, look at the rubric. Basically, these are those criteria kind of reformed and just kind of cut and pasted here. So when you submit, there's going to be 2 things that you submit. You are going to include first a 50-word description of who your audience is, who your intended audience is, right? And that's going to be about 2 sentences, but that's going to be 5 points of your essay, okay? And then you're going to submit your final essay. So this description, you can place it kind of in the comments box of your submission page, or it can be a different file, wherever you want to place it, as long as it's somewhere where I can find it, okay? Then look at the criteria. This is going to, the essay introduces that socially relevant behavior, includes a clear thesis, okay? And everything in that essay is focused on persuading the audience that that thesis is legit, that it's valid, okay? The essay is catered to that specific audience that's named in the submission. Here's where those 5 points come into play. All the style choices, the evidence, the type of language you use reveals your awareness of that audience. So if you're writing to a professional audience, you would not include a bunch of slang or a bunch of, jargon that they wouldn't appreciate, right? And so make sure that it appeals to your audience. The essay includes those 3 sources, and they're well integrated. Look back at our source material, our learning material in our module 8 on integrating sources and integrating quotes with swag. That will help you here. The essay includes strong topic sentences with a complete narrative arc. That just means a beginning, middle, and an end. That's the narrative arc. But you're going to have, guiding phrases and explanations and topic sentences that are mindful of the reader's experience and guides them through all of the points. Explain to them what you're doing here. Right here, it is well edited, okay? Not a lot of grammatical issues, punctuation issues. I'm going to be pretty lenient there. I know we all have mistakes, but if there's a pattern that makes it hard to understand, that's important. That's important for the reader's experience and also to establish your ethos as a writer. And finally, it meets the length. Include those works cited page with the full citations. Links are not citations. So go to our MLA resources module. There's a shortcut on our Canvas homepage, and look at the handouts on how to write full citations, how to use in-text citations in an essay, because every time you bring in content from a source, you need to mention the source, you need to mention the authors, and or include an in-text citation at the end of the sentence that shows where that material comes from. Okay, use that material. Use Purdue OWL is another fantastic source if you need help with formatting. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a great week and good luck with finals and everything.